Welcome back to Locked Cage MMA with your host, Brian the Beast Eastlick.
And Josh, the little Spartan Smith.
You didn't do it in a fancy announcer voice. You got to get the announcer voice in.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll do better. I'll do better.
You're fucking it up. The people want the announcer voice.
My announcer voice isn't that good.
Dude, who's the guy for True Rev? Maybe we can get him in on an audio sample to do our names. We can get him like in a booth or something to record us.
Mike Savage, and he's awesome.
Is he like a Midwest guy, or is he only a True Rev guy?
He does more than just that, I believe.
Nice. Is he in radio, or is he just
I don't think so.
Just an announcer?
Yeah, I think it's just a spare part-time thing that he does.
That's legit, though. Could you imagine just being the Bruce Buffer of Southeast Iowa, Southern Iowa?
That'd be awesome.
Maybe Upper Missouri. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he lives over in Illinois, maybe. Gosh, I might be wrong. But he does a wonderful job. So yeah, it'd be a good one.
Yeah, maybe we can we'll Skype him in sometime. Like, hey, can you do our intro tonight?
That would be sweet. I'll talk to him.
Just every time we do a podcast, we Skype him in. He's like, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll see if he can't get us something done, make it a little bit better.
Nice. Yeah, I've totally dropped the ball on calling, not calling, but getting hold of my buddy Bobby to get our intro done. I should probably do a little bit better. I know that Dave has some intro music for us, kind of like that goes, at the beginning of our shit, but I want that cool rock intro with a little bit of announcer voice in it, that shit. That's what we want. It gets the people going.
Yeah. Maybe nice to have.
Yeah. Yo, should we tell people where they can find us at?
Absolutely.
All right. And Twitter, you can find us at Locked Cage MMA. I do post there about once or twice a week. I do tend to forget because I work full time, so I don't have time to post all day or look at shit. So I understand, you got a job too. So sometimes it's hard to fucking just get on there and be like, hey, but we'll get better at that. I do try to post during fights and stuff, so, but
I'm going to throw up all of our podcasts on there as well as on YouTube,
yes.
But and on the Facebook, which is Locked Cage MMA, or you can just Google us. Google it. Tell everybody to Google it so that it just rises up. That would be really nice. We'd appreciate it.
We can be the most searched. We do like to we do also post this on the Everything MMA Facebook page. I don't know how it's doing there. I just posted on there and hope for the best.
I haven't even looked.
You didn't even know that we post on there, did you?
I try and stay away from the social media side.
Oh shit. All right, should we get into tonight's action? We're gonna do a little bit of review on UFC 286, quite a good card, and then we're gonna break down UFC Fight Night, Vera versus Sandhagen. So
that's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah. So I know we were discussing this before we got in, before we started this. I actually forgot that this this event started early. So I started watching this about Marvin Vettori, or I didn't watch Marvin Vettori. I caught the Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill fight. That's where I got in and watched the fight.
Yeah, I missed Vettori. I caught the end of Maia's fight. I did see all of Nelson and Barberina, and they're on. I was not feeling the greatest on on Saturday, especially during the day. So I was like, oh man.
That's understandable. When you're so old. Uh, Anyways, I feel the same way some days too. I actually had a bet out on one of the prelim fights, and it hit. It was Jake Hadley, that fight not to go the distance, and it was finished in the first round.
Oh,
Hadley
nice.
Hadley got TKO.
Nice. Good for him.
I know, right?
Good for
Um,
you.
I know. And the Vittori versus Delatze fight, I called that shit. Called the wrestling to win. Delete,
Hey, when you can't figure it out, you can't figure it out. I mean, when you're in there, you're not learning anything new. So it's what you already
no.
have, and it went exactly how you thought.
Mm-hmm. I hit about 3 out of my 6 bets. So I went 50-50, broke even for the night. Um, Not quite even because what was it? I bet no, yeah, because the way the bets are, like, even though like if you bet 5 and they're a favorite, you don't quite win 5. So took a small loss, but not as bad as it could be. Could have only won 2 bets, for the night, but
Yeah, no, you could have had nothing.
I
But
think we
a
both
loss.
we both said Casey O'Neill was going to win this fight. Jennifer Maya came out in this fight and looked really good
Mm-hmm.
striking, you know, and she grappled pretty well. She got a lot of cage control, which I know you said control doesn't matter, but she did look like she was like, I mean, she was striking and then getting against the cage. So she was getting some strikes in and then kind of controlling that, the the grappling exchange. So she did look good, especially, since I didn't give her really a chance. She was an underdog and looked good for 34. In the women's division, I feel like 34 is kind of getting up there in age,
I
but
think that even goes for. I mean, how many men do you see past 35 to 40 that are
yeah. I remember watching Cormier and thinking, like, at 35 ish, he was getting too old. That was heavyweight though.
you can
But
always
John
go up to a
Jones,
certain point.
Jones looks good, and he's like what, 36, something like that.
He's a freak.
Yeah, he's a freak.
He is literally a freak. Like that guy is insanely talented. I think he's like, and you know, BJ Penn used to be, right? Like, he was
Mhm.
just a prodigy. He didn't have to work hard. It just came to him. I think Jones is kind of the same way. Not saying he doesn't work like
Yeah.
at it, but
I mean, you look at it, I feel like he might not like have to like work hard in the sense that he picks things up right away. It doesn't take him a long time to
right.
like learn something new. So he kind of picks up things naturally. He doesn't have to work hard to learn a move. Um, I think the thing with BJ Penn was, I think there was times where he wasn't training as hard as he could, and
Oh,
his gas tank was shit. So,
he didn't train. Most of his fights, he didn't train. He just came in and fought. It was insane.
dude, him versus GSP, I want to say it was I think it was like the second time they fought, or did they fight like 3 times? Was it like was it a trilogy?
So this is the problem with being old again, is I can't remember anything. I know that Hughes and St. Pierre had a trilogy. I thought that at least they had tried to schedule it for BJ Penn, and I can't remember if they did fight 3 times.
Yeah,
Would
I
make
think
sense if they did.
yeah, apparently it didn't happen. But so it must have been the second fight. I know they were talking about um BJ, like, St. Pierre was getting, like, they were like, when they like do his cuts for his face, they were wiping his shoulders off. They were wiping the Vaseline off on his shoulders, and that was a big thing, that saying he was cheating, and that, because obviously, that Vaseline is going to make it hard for your legs to grip on the shoulders, if you're in guard and stuff like that, and you got him up, you can't really, you're gonna slip off, and it's gonna wear you down if you keep trying it and holding it. Especially you're gonna have to hold your legs tighter just to stay there. So I can understand, you know, some of maybe the second fight, but he got so gassed so quick,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, he really did, and I believe he even came out later and admitted he didn't train it much for that fight.
But the dude could fight. He was that good. Um, but kudos to him. He had a great career.
Oh
Um,
man, yeah, it's crazy to think that these guys are all those guys are done. But God, we
oh
talk
yeah.
about all the guys in the pioneer wing of the Hall of Fame for
I want to
for
say
days.
I want to say BJ Penn isn't like terribly old. I want to say let me see what B how old BJ Penn is. Old BJ.
40s.
He is 44. My bad. I thought
Mm.
he was younger, but he is old as fuck. But no, I doubt he'll ever see this fucking podcast. But yeah,
All of a sudden, he's at your door.
yeah, fucking, he's like, what the fuck did you say about me?
Oh, hello, motherfucker.
Puts me in a fucking triangle or some shit. I've grappled with some guys that aren't even black belts that have got me in submissions and shit. I'm just like, this shit would not go well for me at the pro level. But you know how many heavyweights are fucking out there throwing up, triangles and shit.
Not a lot of heavyweights have ground game. It's quite rare.
Uh, anyways, back to the card here. We lose fucking track here because I'm ADHD as fuck. So I'll bounce around from topic to topic, but I try to fucking wrangle myself back in. Uh,
Shiny.
where? So after that, we had Gunnar Nelson versus Brian Barberena, and called this one too. I think, did you go with Barberena on this one?
Yeah, I like Barberina as a fighter, so
Oh,
that
I
one might
did.
have been a lot more not the smart betting side and betting with who you just want to win.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Gunnar was like, again, it's something that I always look at as grapplers. What's weird is he's got that weird karate stance where he's like, his chin's up and he's like, he fights back. And like,
Yeah.
if you fight a guy that's got reach, he's a fucking smack that jaw and just go limp noodle on your fucking legs there.
Nelson looked fantastic in that fight. I
He
didn't think it would go the way it did. I mean, I didn't have high hopes, but at the same time, I thought I want Barberina to win. And then watching Nelson there, I just kind of was like, dude, I was really good. You deserve props. Like, so even if you're looking at the fight, you're trying to not be
I think
biased,
he
even though you wanted somebody to
I
win.
think he transitioned well on the ground too.
Man, did he.
And then he got that. I thought he was gonna go for that. I always get fucking Americanas and key locks mixed up. They're very similar. One goes one way, one goes the other. Key
Right.
lock is when you got, I think it's when your arms, like basically your the back of your hands on the ground, and the other one is like where I don't know. I think it's where, I don't know, your arms twisted a different way. I think the key lock is when, like, yeah, you're um oh shoot. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but your palm would be up. I don't know.
It's
One's your
terms.
arms down, one's your arms up this way. I guess, yeah, one would be your hands up by your head, the other one's like
Right. It's going
like
down.
at your hip.
Yep.
So did I explain that right? I'm not a submission guy. I was ground and pound. Neither, yeah.
With the wrestling terminology, I don't know.
you're
I'm not
like
sure.
you're like, I know what a straight left, a straight right is, a jab and a hook, uppercut sometimes.
If you get into like, well, you've got different moves, and
Yeah.
everything has got like basically like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling. They all have some of the same or similar moves, and they call them something
Mhm.
completely different. So like
Mhm.
terminology across there is not like universal. So I always struggle with like wrestling. I never wrestled in high school. I was in
Yeah.
boxing. So I don't know the wrestling terminology of what the exact same thing of a Kimura would be, or
Kudos to the announcers that know all the names of these fucking moves and shit. I know the basic ones like the fucking triangle and the fucking I know leg locks and shit like that. But some of these that they call like different names, I'm just like, all right. I know an arm triangle, shit like that. That's I know I probably know way more than I think I do, but just
it
naming
comes a
them.
lot easier when you're actually watching a fight and you're talking about it. It's just the knowledge just pours out.
Yeah.
You can't even help it. You know, you do the same thing probably when you're sitting at home and you're
Mhm.
watching fights and you're like, hey, that's he's gonna go for, and you can call it out before it's happening. You just don't realize
Yeah.
you're doing it. It's
Yeah,
so
I like
natural.
it's definitely one of those things where like I'll be my buddy Phil comes over a lot and stuff. And my wife will be watching and I'll be like, he needs to like transition here. He needs to move his leg or he needs to lock, he has a leg lace here, I'm like, and then and then next thing you know, they're doing it. And it's like, it's just something that you've learned, you've done. It's just, it. You see it coming before it happens. And people look at you like you're like some sort of savant, and I'm like, no, I'm just an idiot. uh
That goes for most of us.
Next we had Justin Gaethje versus Fiziev. Even though it was a split decision at the time, like I think I in the moment I'm always like, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, Gaethje did look good in a lot of exchanges there. Fiziev did too, though. Fiziev put a lot of pressure on him. He had good exchanges, but I feel like Gaethje was countering a lot, and where Fiziev might get like two or three punches, Gaethje would land four. It was a good fight, and a split decision is the right call there. And I do think, looking back at it, Gaethje was the winner. Um, I told you when we were chatting back and forth, no fucking way, no fucking way.
I'm glad you came to your senses there.
I told you
It
I
was
can
huge.
I can admit when I'm wrong. In the moment, I'm usually like, no, 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 no.
Well, nothing wrong with being angry at that. I mean, it was a good fight, but Gaethje's damage. It was
Yeah.
he during the exchanges. It looks like they're both getting each other, but then you see when they come out who's actually getting who.
Hmm.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah, and Fiziev landed some heavy shots on him.
sure.
He had him rocked at least one time that I remember, a couple times maybe, but I know he had him. And so many times, like you see in fights where I'm like, he got him rocked. How is he not like capitalizing on this? But a lot of these guys probably, they might just play like they're rocked to get him to come in closer.
It
But it
happened.
looks,
It's happened before.
yeah, it
A
looks
little
like
possum.
Gaethje was definitely rocked. I thought Fiziev should have like backed him down some more, but he didn't. And maybe he knew that Gaethje would do something like that. I don't know. I know Fiziev had him rocked. Gaethje, fucked up Fiziev's face. I think he should probably be back in title contention soon. I think he's worthy of it. I think fucking Oliveira was a tough fight for him. Um I don't know how he does against Makachev, but I think he's right up there in line for a shot.
Well, I
I
think
don't
he has
know.
a lot better shot at Islam than he did with Khabib.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think Islam is even close to the same fighter, but I mean that's a different story. Like,
Yeah.
Gaethje looked really good. He didn't. He kept the same pace the whole fight, and he was a lot slower, but his punches were. I believe he had more significant strikes that landed, and his was doing more damage. I mean,
I say
Cancelo's
he
all
runs.
day.
I say he runs it back with Poirier again.
I
I think
think
that.
that could happen. I could see that.
I
I
think
mean,
that
he
would
just said
be.
he was going to make one more title run, but he wasn't going to be here long. He didn't plan on doing this a whole lot longer. So I think we got one more shot. Like, I mean, whatever his next fight is either going to be up in there, in the close to getting a title fight, or it will be a title fight. We'll see what happens.
I definitely
Islam's not
think.
wanting to stay in 155. He wants to go up.
Yeah. He wants the. I saw that somewhere that he said he wanted Leon Edwards next. It's like, guys, I've like that's just not a good matchup for Edwards, in my opinion, versus Makachev. I think that fight's under 5 rounds. I'd say it's under 3.5 rounds, to be
I
honest.
think Edwards knocks him out.
Really? You think he knocks out
Yeah,
Islam?
Islam had trouble with a guy much smaller than him.
But
Put a guy bigger than him in there. I mean, yeah, striker at B, but if Kamaru Usman could not take down Leon Edwards and hold him there and at his will, how is a smaller guy going to do it?
I don't. I think Islam's wrestling is way better than Usman's, though.
I don't think he's a better athlete. I don't
True.
believe he's stronger. Yeah, his technique was probably a little bit more redefined. Better technique, sure. Technique can help. Yep, that'll help. But if Liam was standing up the way he was with Usman, I don't think that your technique is going to outweigh the fact that he's going to power through you, stand up, and punch your head in.
You don't
The guy's
think
looking great right now.
you don't think if Islam and Usman fought, you don't think that Islam would take Usman down and control him?
No, too strong.
Too
Too
straight. Yeah.
strong. He's too strong, and he's look at how much he couldn't. Islam couldn't hold down a 145er. A
Isn't
tiny little guy. Just
yeah.
the
Well,
little guy.
Volk's different. Volk's different. Volk, you take any fucking 145 pounder. I mean, who's probably the best grappler at 145?
Volk.
Maybe
I
Brian
mean, he didn't
Ortega.
get out grappled really by Islam, so I don't know. Now at this point, I'm just like, that guy is fantastic. I just think I think Volk's fantastic. But I look at that like you couldn't control a smaller guy. They had to
But
come up in weight. How do you go up in weight to your next weight class above you and control a guy who can't be controlled by anybody in his weight class?
I mean,
it's a tough thing.
I don't know. Like, I know that like T City is a great grappler, and T City had fucking. I'm talking about Brian Ortega. If
Yeah,
you guys
absolutely.
don't know who T City is, most of you guys do. If you're watching this show, you'd probably know most fighters. Um, Brian Ortega had Volkanovski dead to rights in a fucking triangle.
Okay.
So I mean, do you say he's probably the best grappler at
I think Ortega's probably your best Jets guy.
Yeah.
Grappling wise, I mean, it's a little
I
different, right?
mean,
Usman
you
doesn't
got
ever submit anyone, but is he a good grappler?
you got Yair Rodriguez.
Rodriguez is
Um,
a good
he's a
stand-up
stud,
fighter.
but I like him. He's got 3 subs, not many. Holloway, he's a striker
Probably none.
too. 2 wins by decision or by submission. Ortega is probably the guy that's the grappler, jujitsu guy. He's got 3 knockout wins, which fucking after getting an in cage lesson by Max Holloway, he got better there.
Holloway's Hall of Fame worthy. He's absolutely fantastic in the fact that
Okay, Arnold Allen. Well, shoot. I mean, even Arnold Allen's got 4. He's got 7 knockouts and 4 by submission. So it's like I always when I think of Arnold Allen, I think of submissions, and I'm surprised to see that he's only got 4 subs. Um, who else?
that's because
Emmett.
when a wrestler goes
Emmett's
against a wrestler, it ends up
Emmett's
being
a
a fight.
striker. Josh Emmett's a striker.
Yeah.
Um, who else? So Chan Sung Yoon, he's got 8 subs. The Korean Zombie. I always forget that he's Korean. Or that's I always call him Korean Zombie. So he's already fought for the title. He's not
Yeah,
really. We saw how he did against Volk. I think the best grappler that Volk's went against is Ortega. Um,
I think that's the
Mitchell,
best
but
submission artist, but I think Islam is the best grappler.
Mitchell's a sub guy too, but he got handled by Tapuria.
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah, that was a good fight.
Tapuria's got 8 wins by submission. So he's up and coming. He's undefeated at the featherweight division. So I still don't think that, they're I mean, the best I think that we've seen Volk fight grappling wise is Ortega. And I don't know where I was going with this, but
Well,
he's
up until he fought Islam. I think Ortega is the best submission artist, but Islam is the best grappler. I think there's a difference, right? I
yeah.
mean, a grappler can, like, because Usman has like one. I mean, you can probably look this up, but Usman has, I believe, one submission. But I mean, we know Usman is taking a guy down and controlling him and being
Mm-hmm.
able to control them on the ground, almost George St. Pierre esque.
Which is really weird. You would think a weight division like featherweight would have more submission guys, because they're not out there knocking each other out.
No, but it's changed a lot. I mean, look at the evolution of every division, really. But featherweights, you used to have a ton of submission guys in there and a ton of strikers, and completely different, right? Like you'd have a guy
Mm-hmm.
who was a boxer or a guy who is a black belt in jujitsu, not somebody who's done it all. Most of these guys now are doing everything. So it's an evolution up to actual mixed martial artists, and it's kind of nice to see.
Yeah. I like, yeah. Nowadays it's so much better to watch because you kind of like you don't know, like you've got guys that work on stuff, like, and then all of a sudden they pull it out in the middle of a fight, and then you're not used to seeing it from them. Like Nagano when he came out and wrestled Cyril Gahn, you're like, where the hell did this fucking wrestling come from?
Right.
You're just like,
It's nice to see them evolve and watch these guys that put their bodies on the line for us and entertainment.
a lot of guys back in the day did not evolve. They just
No,
stuck to what they knew, and that was it. I mean,
you didn't switch gyms and be able to have that opportunity. Your gym wasn't an MMA gym. Your gym was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym.
yeah.
It was a boxing gym. It was a Muay Thai gym.
I mean, I guess you could say maybe one of the first people that was really multi, I'd say Georgia St. Pierre was probably one of the first that was like kind of like all around because he could box, he could wrestle, he could, grapple, and like he was a complete fighter. That's why he was so good for so long.
100%
Um,
agree.
and that's one of the first you see to do it. BJ Penn was pretty good
BJ
boxer and he could grapple too, but I feel like
Very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background. Good with
mhm,
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know if I would say a good grappler because Matt, he was out grappling.
yeah.
Where the wrestling nullified it because how much better his wrestling was.
Hmm. Yeah. It's he was when he first came out, he was kind of a problem for people, and then kind of people, if they knew they could outlast him for
Mm-hmm.
they could get to him.
It used to be
uh
you didn't have to have gas in the tank, but yeah, I 100%. I mean, I thought Gaethje won that fight, but we did have a little bit of a hiccup in the conversation of you did, but it was a
Hey,
good fight by both guys. I mean, seriously, both guys fought wonderfully.
yeah. And I mean, I can take it. I can look back when I'm a little bit more calm down and not in the moment and kind of think a little clearer. I mean, because I mean sometimes if you put a bet out there, you're kind of biased toward a certain fighter, and then when things don't go that well and you think it's close, you're like, oh, hey, there you go. Why didn't he win? This is bullshit.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when it's a split decision. That was a split decision. So one ref thought it was close. So
Yeah, I thought they did a good job at calling it. Even and you gotta even look at the fact that it's where is this fight taking place? Where is the fighter from? These are all things that can come into, and it shouldn't by any means. Should it like, oh, this is my hometown fighter and I might just pick him, but you don't even mean to with your brain sometimes. Like, we're all human, we all make mistakes, and sometimes people can be biased. So it was another close fight. Both the last two fights were real close.
yep. Then we go to the main event of 286. Now I'm not gonna be as I'm not gonna be as like, I guess, what do you say, not forgiving, but like my opinion on this fight really didn't change. I think I think Usman I think Usman I especially with the point deduction in, what was it, round 4? 3. It was round 3 or 4.
I thought it was four. No, it was three. It was three,
It
right?
was 3. Okay, so there's two more fights. Okay. Or two more rounds. So especially, I don't, one of the judges had it scored um had scored all 5 rounds for um for Edwards, and I just don't see it. It was well, this one doesn't show. This one says 48-46, 48-46, and then one tie, 47-47. Um so I thought I heard one that was like 49-46 or something like that, or whatever, 49-45 or something like that. Um I just can't believe that you only give one round to Usman. I'd say the first round maybe a toss up. I scored it personally for myself for Usman. Um and then second round Leon. Third round, I definitely think that Usman won that round. So how would the point deduction go on a 10-9 round? Would it go to 10-8 then?
So you don't. So with the point deduction, say it's say me and you are in a fight, and you get a point deduction, but you won the round. So it's 10-9, right?
No, it's 9-9, right?
Right. Now it's 10-9. Then you take the point away from the person. Now it's 9-9. Yes.
Yeah.
So it would be 9-9.
So
You would have to see. So you would have to, if you lost that round, you would be down to an 8.
yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
So it would be, so I don't know. I feel like on that round, so there's 10-9, or it's 10-8 on that round. So I don't know. I feel like I don't see how two judges scored it for Edwards. I feel like it should have been like one judge Edwards, one judge Usman, and then the draw. I think at the very least this fight was a draw. I didn't see Edwards winning the whole fight. I don't think he did. I think if the roles were reversed and Usman was the champion and he did everything that he did in that fight, he would have been the winner, because you always have to beat the champion,
If
right?
he was at home and he was already the champion, possibly if he was in his, because you got to think that can actually sway you even subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
You may not want it to sway you, but it does. But there's a lot more strikes landed by Leon. I mean, 4 takedowns, and you did nothing with it. Leon stood up right after. You can't give a whole lot of credit to a takedown if it did nothing, right? I mean, if you just keep putting me down into a pile of pillows and then picking me back up and putting me down to a pile of pillows, you're not really doing anything to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying like that's what he was doing. Obviously, he's actually taking him down, but it wasn't as hard takedowns. They're not slams. You're not getting a lot of. You're not getting a lot for that.
Mhm.
I'm not, as a judge, I'm not looking at you and you take the guy down and 2 seconds later he stands up. You did nothing with it. Okay, you got a takedown. What did it do to the fighter? What kind of how did it stunt him from moving forward? I mean, you're tiring him out. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of a long game thing though, right? So you're not going to give a whole lot of points to a long game.
Mhm.
I mean, if you want, and I think it's a thing I would like to rewatch it too, because maybe because I picked Leon in our last show, I would have been a little bit biased. It's always possible.
You do have more like insight on the judging aspect. I don't know. I do look at things differently when I've like you and you say that pressuring doesn't matter and you could win a fight, backing up.
So it
It's just
does like pressuring. So pressuring, it's octagon control, right? So we call it in the
yeah.
UFC octagon control. Anywhere else, it's just cage control inside the cage. Who has control? Well, control. You don't go to control unless there's no damage. So if me
Mhm.
and you are fighting and we can't punch each other, we can't take each other down, but you're the one who's pushing forward, but I can't
Mhm.
hit you and I can't take you down and you can't hit me and can't take me down. Then we go to that. And it's a secondary option, right? It's not your
Mhm.
primary thing. So it's because you're backing up, Nate. I mean, Nate Diaz backs up all the time.
Mhm.
Both Diaz boys back up a lot, and they can back up and still crack you. Chuck Liddell won how many titles from backing up and then knocking somebody out?
That
He
was his
dropped Bobby
style
Louie.
though. You
Right. So
know.
you got to get you'll look at that. And is that what that guy does? And Anderson Silva would back up sometimes, knock somebody out. You can't just because somebody's backing up doesn't mean that they're not on the
But he's
offensive. That
he's
might be their
not
way.
he's knocking them out though. You gave examples of people knocking people out,
Right.
but
But I mean, if you're not doing any damage to me, then yes, that comes into effect. The control does.
I think my mindset when it comes to that is from wrestling because when if you're backing up in wrestling, you're they hit you with a stall call. You know,
Right. Right.
you're stalling the fight, you're running, and then in college they call it fleeing the mat. You can get a point for that too. Um, like in high school wrestling, it takes like 2 or 3 warnings before they actually give you the stall. They give the point to the other opponent. So I mean that could be where my mindset is when it comes to watching a fighter back up constantly. Um, I see like when I see someone on the offensive, um, I mean, like, and then even though they might be landing on the counters and stuff, if I see him landing some punches and stuff like that, and that might be where I was at with Fazeev. I think that's where I really was. Um, saw him on the offensive and saw Gaethje backing up. Gaethje was like landing like more punches to Fiziv's, punches, like Fiziv at there toward the end, he was only throwing 1 to 2, and then Gaethje would throw 3 or 4 right at him back. So
Right.
that's
And
kind
if
of
they're
where,
doing more damage too, numbers can make a difference, but the
and
damage is huge.
I didn't think Leon was outlanding Usman that much compared to like when they would get in exchanges. So I mean, I guess I kind of looked at like I thought Usman was kind of he had control. He was throwing punches. Leon um, wasn't countering as much. But I'd have to go back and like kind of like maybe look at the punches a little closer.
They were
But
tit for tat on. I mean, they were really close. I
mhm.
believe Leon had higher percentage than Usman. Usman had a higher output. Like he threw more punches, but he missed more.
Yeah, so
But they were
he was
pretty.
more efficient with
Leon was more
Edwards was more
efficient with,
efficient with his
yeah,
punches.
and that's just with the total ones. I know, I remember because I remember us talking about this through text on the night of the fights, but I remember the significant strikes on
Mhm.
Leon Edwards are way higher than Usman, and that's where your difference is because that's where the damage is. A significant strike is something that is damaging, right? You can see
Mhm.
it did something to that person. Otherwise, maybe I just accidentally touch you as I'm punching and it doesn't really hurt you. I mean, I still landed it, but it didn't do anything. So significant strikes are a big difference as well.
Mhm.
when it comes down to that, because that's you got to go to damage. You're in a fight, right? What's the first thing that you want to do? You want to take that
Mhm.
person out. Well, you don't take them out by hugging them on the ground and just laying
No. Let's see here. We can take a look at total strikes. It was 123 for Edwards, 113 for Usman.
there.
Significant
That
strikes, 120 for Edwards and 87 for Usman. So Edwards was landing the more impactful punches. Um, I don't know. Some of these fights you see judges like someone could way outstrike someone and the other person gets the win. And there's not even a ton of damage. I
yeah,
just
yeah. And
some of these judges out here are crazy. So you're like you don't know what to think.
that's something that hopefully is, and it is actually true. So I'm not even arguing that point at all. But I'm hoping in the future that that is something we don't have to say. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
as a judge, as a certified judge, as a certified referee, it sucks to have to say, "Hey, don't leave it to the judges."
Yeah.
Like you just think about things like that. Look in the Leon and Kamaru Usman fight. My thoughts were, "Hey, Usman, what are you doing? You're in his home country. He's the champ. You got to finish this fight. You don't let that go to the judges." Now, as a judge, I should not say that.
Yeah.
That's just downing to my own people that we
Yeah.
all train together, and I shouldn't say that. But on the same note, I'm
That's
thinking we're human.
that's the fighter in you though.
That's the fighter in me, but I'm also thinking about it realistically.
Yeah.
Realistically, if your guy from your country that you enjoy watching is fighting in front of you against a guy that he's been mouthing off back and forth all week and blah blah, all you hear is that you mean even it's not even on purpose. You may not mean to do it, and you're like it's in the back of your head because it's such a close round. I'm going with my guy. You don't even realize you did it, and that's
Yeah.
something I think we all do just as humans. So
There's
I
a
don't know
bias. Yeah.
I don't know if you can ever change that unless somehow there's a mechanical way or some kind of computer technology that actually like
The
measures who
only
won.
way, and I was thinking about it, the only way you could really do something would be like a scoring system like wrestling uses. Like if you did get points for a
Yeah,
takedown, if you did get something for X amount of strikes or something like that. I mean, it would still suck because people could get fucking be whooping someone's ass and be up like 50 points. And then by that time, you have to get a fucking knockout. But at
yeah,
the same time, you have to fucking look at it and be like, oh, well, there's times where guys are down 4 rounds and they've got to do something like Leon Edwards had to do in the last fight against Usman. He had to get a fucking knockdown.
oh
Just
yeah,
like in wrestling, you could be down 12 points, close to a fucking tech fall, and then all of a sudden, you pin the guy. If you're down 12 and you're close to a tech fall and you pin the guy, it's like you had to have a miracle to win. So, that would be the only way I could think of it.
I
It
think that
would
would have
be,
a problem with points because people
yeah.
would play the points game,
Yeah. And
right?
that's what I'm saying. That was the only way I could think that you could do it, but then it wouldn't. I don't think it would work,
Like there's
you
just
know?
it's hard. I know that the 10-9 system's antiquated. It's just
Mm-hmm.
terrible. Like it really is, but it's like really we shouldn't even have people that are called judges because but actually that is what we do as a judge. You judge the fight and you decide who wins. It
Mm-hmm.
is your choice, and that's just set rules that everybody goes by, but it's interpreted differently and it gets misconstrued by the media and how it actually works and how it so everybody's like that I shouldn't have won. But you also have to look at where the judges sit when you're at home watching on TV. Man, is it easy? It's easy to
Mm-hmm.
judge that fight. That's the easiest way to judge a fight. When you've got a post in front of your face and then you got a referee running around in front of you, you start missing stuff.
Yeah.
So you got to have that same angle for them too as
Do
well.
these guys do like the ones that are at like events? Do they have like monitors that they can look at too, or
Well, that all depends on the event. You mean
like UFC? Do they have like
yeah, they should. I mean, I believe everybody has monitors right there. That's why you'll see like commentators looking down. I don't know if they do for the judges. I don't know whether they can. You're supposed to be watching. It depends on every state's different, but you're supposed to be watching
Mm-hmm.
it yourself, not on a monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise they wouldn't need to be
Yeah.
there. The idea is that when you think about that, if you're watching it on a monitor and you're like, oh, cut out. Oh, what do I do?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed something. I mean, so you're
Yeah.
missing something no matter what. And you don't ever want to give the idea that you can do judging remotely because what happens when your TV goes out, your power goes out
Oh
remotely, and
no.
you're
Yeah.
judging.
That's when they're like, make sure you have a reliable connection.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be hard. It sometimes you just can't see from where you're at when you're judging, and it's just something you've missed. It's not your fault. It's not anyone else's fault. It's just you didn't see that happen. Now, if you weren't paying attention, that's your damn fault.
Yeah. But like, I mean, I think this fight was subjective. Um, where Leon Edwards goes from here really is truthfully kind of, I mean, Dana said Colby gets the next fight.
Bullshit.
I think, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say what's really happening here. I mean, I don't mind Covey or Colby Covington. I think people are definitely reading too much into his character.
It's 100% fake, but the guy sat out for a year and then got
Yeah.
a title fight. Where the
Yeah.
hell's Bilal Muhammad?
Yeah.
Why
Bilal,
isn't he
what
getting
Bilal's
anything?
won like what 12 or 13 fights.
It's insane, yeah.
Yeah,
And
he
he
hasn't won.
literally is just now he's got another one coming up. I think he's getting ready to sign. The guy fights anyone and everyone. That's who we want. Come on, the Donald
Did
Cowboys, Cerrone's of the world.
did I
That's what
hear
we want
that?
back.
I don't know if it was hearsay, but is he fighting Rachmanov?
Yeah, that's who it is. I believe that's in the works. I don't think it's signed yet. I believe it's in the works. Is the last time I heard.
Yeah, let me see if that's.
And I think that's just he's taken on
Yep.
all comers, and we already had we already had Leon Edwards say he didn't want to fight Colby Covington, right? He thought Masvidal was a better selling point, which I get. They have some history, they have a background. He's a striker. You want to get in there and stand and bang once. You don't want to deal with a wrestler, but
And it's gonna be an unpopular opinion here, but you have to think logically on it. Colby knows that he is not gonna have his career is probably gonna be coming to an end, sometime here within a few years, right?
how old is Covington?
You have got to grab the money while you can. So his money fights, obviously Usman twice, right? Two pretty close fights with Usman. Then he has some beef with, Masvidal, gets a big money payday out of Masvidal. Then, Usman loses the title. He kind of his big money fights were Usman. He's the guy that has been closest to Usman so far. Um, who else has been close to Usman besides Edwards? Edwards beat him, but
Yeah,
who besides? No
I
one was.
get that point, but I just don't see how you can sit out and retain that position just
Yeah,
because you haven't lost. I
yeah,
think these guys should be required to fight more.
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But Colby wants. He's going for money. He is 35 years old. So right within 2 or 3 years, probably 3 years, he's gonna be done. He needs to grab the money while he can, stay relevant while he can.
No, I don't
Just
blame him at all for what he does.
and he has to portray this character. A lot of people don't understand it. Like
It's like WWE. It's just a character. He's not
he
that kind of person in
like
real life.
yeah, he would not be able to like I was explaining this to a coworker. I was like, he's like, I understand, but I just hate it.
Right.
I'm like,
It's
yeah,
cringy
I
as
was like,
hell.
he was close to being cut. And then he pulls that shit in
Smart.
Brazil and he becomes the bad guy, right? And then, he starts winning and he's got all this, people love him, because, he supports Trump and they support Trump, or they fucking hate Trump and they hate everything he does.
Still puts asses in seats.
Yeah, he puts asses in seats because they either want to see him fucking lose or they want to see him win. And
that's the unfortunate part about fighting.
Is the same damn thing with Tito Ortiz.
Yep.
People loved him or they fucking hated him and they wanted to see him lose, so they tune in to see him lose.
This wasn't it wasn't a persona though that he put on. That's
no, he was being himself. Yeah, Jorge Masvidal. Yeah, I don't know. Someone I told, like, but what some of the stuff that Colby says is true. Fucking Masvidal caught lightning in a bottle and fucking parlayed it into a fucking championship opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
He luck boxed his way in to a fucking title shot, did decent in the title shot, and got a fucking another rematch,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then he got this big ass fight contract.
Yeah.
He got this big ass fight contract. It's like fucking 7 fights. They said most of the time when you get a big ass contract like that, you never fulfill that fucking fight contract.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't like, it's like I like him because I know he's portraying a character. I like professional wrestling, I don't
hate the character. I mean, he's doing what he's doing. I just don't think that he should be able to sit out for a year and walk into a title fight. I didn't think Chael Sonnen should be able to talk his way into a title fight when he did, but he did.
Hey, sometimes that's how you did. And Chael's another guy that's like, I feel like he's portraying a character too, Absolutely. I don't think he's a fucking, but like there was
he's never lost though.
Hey, no, never lost a round in his life.
Round. Not
fucking round. Dude, Shale, one of the things with Shale is he had Anderson Silva dead to rights. He was what, a minute and a half away from being,
I thought he had
world champion.
I remember that. I rember being on the edge of my seat, or I was either standing up like freaking out because I was like, no way.
He had him dead to rights, and then the second fight he was doing the same shit and he got caught.
Yeah.
He had him dead to rights on the ground and got caught. And I was like, son of a bitch. You wanted to see that. He was entertaining as fuck. He was a guy that he was cocky, but he made you laugh doing it,
Funny. I love his back in the day I didn't like it, but now when you look back, I'm like, oh my God. And I'm sure we'll do the same thing with Colby Covington's character. We're gonna look back and be like, yeah, I mean, come on, we were dumb. Anybody who thought he was being real. And
yeah,
when Chael was doing it, it was a little bit more hard to figure out because we didn't have as much vaccine we don't have anybody to tell us. We just seen it, and that's what. Geez, when we were kids, wrestling was real.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we all know it's not. We enjoy it.
It's still real to me.
It's awesome. It's still awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's a damn good, fun storyline.
Oh yeah,
story. It's good.
I don't watch wrestling. Like, I don't watch like WWE. Like, I won't sit down and watch a whole thing, but I will catch clips of it on my TikTok or YouTube and shit, and I will watch it and I know what's going on. Watching these fucking little 10-minute clips of shit, I know what's going on. So like, I'll watch pay-per-views and shit once in a while, but
so you just watch wrestling. That's like just a really roundabout way to say I watch wrestling. I mean, sometimes I watch it. I really don't.
I watch the clips, but then if I watch a pay-per-view, like I know the main storylines that are going on, but like I don't have to sit there and watch 2 hours of a show.
It's like just what are those things that are on during the day that your wife watches?
Soap operas.
There you go. Yeah. And this is
my wife's at work, bro.
Well, I mean, like, and the 7 people that are listening.
Oh yeah, they're wives.
Yeah, our wives can't afford to do that.
No,
I don't have a wife. Your wife can't afford to do that. Mine would never if I had one.
Might as well be. No. All right. Anyways, All right, let's we're at about 55 minutes. We should probably do this next section within about 15
You
minutes or
know,
so.
here's what I was thinking, and maybe we can get some feedback from people on it. But I'm thinking when an event's coming up, we can just hit it. Basically, who's going to win and why. At least on the lower end, right? Kind of like your top picks. Who's going to win? Top 5, fights on the next card.
Who are your 5 locks?
Nick, who's going to win? Who do you have winning anywhere on the next card? 5 people that you're going to have winning.
And why?
Yep. I think that's interesting.
That is interesting.
I could be wrong.
For our 5 picks for this card, we have mostly the main event again. We're going to start with Chidi Chukwani versus Albert Durev. I like Chidi. I've watched him fight a lot, and there are times when he looks like, if things get if he gets drug into deep waters, he can kind of just drown. He's just looking for that life preserver to get him out of there. But with against Durev, I don't think Durev is that great of a grappler compared to some of the guys that Chidi's fought. Chidi does have a 5-inch reach advantage.
That's big. That makes a big difference.
5 inches is, depending on who you're telling what 5 inches is, 5 inches is a lot. That was a corny joke, but anyways.
I thought it was pretty funny. I'm an old dad, so
5 inches, especially in reach, is just crazy. With 5 inches, if I had a 5-inch reach advantage with anybody, I'm keeping them at bay with a jab. I think that's what Chidi needs to do to keep Durev off him, like trying to get him taken down. So he just throws that fucking jab, fucking jab, follow up with a combination. I could see Chidi winning this fight by the second round, knocking him out.
I can see that. Nojikawani had a very good run there for a while. I thought he was like up and coming. He was going to do something, crazy. Sometimes there's that fighter that you just think is going to like burst onto the scene and blow things up, and then kind of just started fading off. Haven't heard from him for a while, so this is really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, same. I'm gonna go with the same on that one.
Yeah, Chidi, he's definitely, like I said, he had a little bit of a kind of a little bit of a fall off, but with especially with his last fight was a loss, but
he just kind of disappeared right after that for a little while.
Yeah, but he could he's definitely gonna be a guy. I like his nickname though, Chidi Bang Bang, or Chidi Bang Bang.
That's pretty funny.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I just don't see Durev getting a win here. I think Chidi knocks him out. Albert's been knocked out 4 times in his 4 losses, so I feel like if he doesn't, I don't think he gets Chidi down. I think he keeps him at bay. I think that's how he wins.
Nojikawani should be favored to win, I believe, because they're ranked like 50th and 30th in the world.
Let me see what the odds are real quick. But yeah, I think let's say maybe UFC has it on their website. Edwards. That was Edwards. Okay, I want to go to events here. It is. Oh, the heck! I hit the wrong button. Chidi is minus 155. Durev is plus 135. He's slightly the dog. Durab is Russian, so always figure in a Russian to be maybe uh on his game. I don't know. Russians are tough to beat. Ask Rocky.
I think it's kind of funny because there's just different parts of the world that start to take over the sport at certain times. I mean, it used to be Brazil, and then you had Russia was really was still putting out a lot of good guys out of there, and then you had Africa who was putting out very good fighters as well, and still is. It's
Yeah,
just crazy.
they had at one time they had, Usman, Adesanya, and Nagano all champion.
Yeah,
So, hey, at one point it switches. There's a regime change every so often.
there
I feel
really is.
like I feel like Brazil had it for the longest time
I
though.
agree.
I
I
feel like
agree.
and I still think that they're like anytime you see a Brazilian in a fight, I just always feel like they got a chance.
Yeah, you got it's just certain areas that you're born into it. You do it your whole life. It's something that you're used to doing. So it's crazy. It's crazy to see that, and it's blowing up all over the world. I mean, you never know where someone's going to be from. I really think it's a cool thing.
Yeah. Let's see what it's the same on Caesars too, minus 155 and plus 130. It's not plus 135. So there's a slight advantage on whoever these odds are by. It could be DraftKings. I can't remember who does UFC. But yeah.
Yeah,
Next we had your it's yo friend Andrea Lee versus Macy Barber.
man, Andrea Lee is a stud fighter. She's an awesome person. She's a stud fighter. I'm gonna go with her on this one for 100%. And I believe it's a finish. I think the hype behind Macy Barber has been pretty big. I don't think a lot of people have had that hype given to Andrea Lee, and she still gets in there and gives everything every time. I enjoy it. We'll see what happens, but that's where I'm going.
I'm gonna go with Andrea Lee too. I just think that Macy Barber's striking isn't as good as it seems. She has had 5 knockouts, but she hasn't had she's had okay, she's been in the UFC, she's had on the UFC Fight Night, she has 1 TKO, 2 KO, three TKOs since being in there, but the rest have been decision here lately. Um, I don't think that her ground game is gonna she's not gonna be able to take Andrea Lee down. I think Andrea Lee is gonna be able to just hit her with that jab, keep her at bay because she has a reach advantage as well. She is I believe 69.5 inches and Macy Barber is 65. So 65 to 64 or 65 to 69.5 inches. Keep her at bay with that jab. And I say get some good combinations in there against Andrea Lee. I mean, I feel like this one's probably going to go to decision. Probably will be a decision win for Andrea Lee. And I think a dog pulls off a win here. You know, she's not dog at all, like looks
That
wise.
was rude. That was rude. I
I'm
cannot
talking
believe you
under.
just said
I'm
that.
talking underdog.
Nah, I got you. I got you. I think that's going to be a fun fight.
I think if you did an X-ray on Andrea Lee, you would find that she has that dog in her.
That was definitely a dad joke, and I loved it.
That's a big trend on pretty much any social media is like they got that dog in them, and it'll be like an X-ray and a dog inside. Hilarious. Anyways, I digress. Next we have Nate Landwehr versus Austin Lingo, and this is gonna be a barn burner. This one
Hmm.
is gonna be non-stop action. This according to all the people that love fighting, think that this should be probably the co-main event.
Oh well,
Um,
yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
these guys are it's in favor of Nate Landwehr at minus 225 against Austin Lingo. Um, I'm a big guy. I like going dogs. Just like when you got two guys that are fighting, um, you know, Austin Lingo, he's 9-1. Uh Landwehr's 16-4. They're both coming off wins. Um Featherweight division needs some new blood. Why not? Why not Austin Lingo with some knockouts?
I think Lingo is a really interesting fighter, but I don't think his skill set is enough to stop or even win a decision against Landwehr. So Nate for the win, and I don't even have to go into it. I mean, that's literally. I like dogs too, but I just don't see how Lingo wins this fight.
He did submit Ludwig Klein, so that is a that's a pretty impressive win in my book, especially a anaconda choke. So pretty impressive there. So I do think if Landwehr does win this fight, he's gonna have to, I say, take it to the ground. But I think Lingo is just, I think, with his pressure and, willing to get in there and mix it up. I think he gets a knockout here. I mean, even though his last couple have been decisions, I think when you get two guys that are willing to stand and exchange, I think he should be able to get a knockout here.
I think it will. I think it will have. I don't believe it's going the
I
distance.
say if you're gonna bet this fight, you go under the rounds. So like I think this is 3 rounds. There'll probably be a prop out there. It's under 2.5 rounds, especially a fight this close. Under 2.5 rounds is a good bet because it could go submission for Landwehr. It could go knockout for Landwehr. It could go knockout for Lingo. Good bet there would be under 2.5 rounds.
Yeah, there's always a puncher's chance.
Yeah. Next, we have good old, AARP home
Oh
versus
damn, that was
Yana
rough.
Yana Santos.
Ooh,
I
that,
get
ouch.
I can't be nice to Holly Holm. She did my girl Rhonda dirty.
I'm sorry. Sorry for your loss. Literally.
She has been she sent her to the WWE. I've been sad about that. But
Ron, yeah, well, Ronda's been gone for quite some time. You shouldn't be upset
Ro-
about that anymore. But Holly is
Rhonda,
getting up there when it
I
comes
tell
to.
you what, Rhonda though, she's one of those fighters that, like we just said, she did not progress with the times. She
No, no, she's
was
stuck.
she was the best fighter at her division for the first 2 or 3 years of her career, and then everybody caught up with her.
Yeah, she didn't evolve.
But she is one of those people that, without her, does the women's division even exist right now?
Maybe not. Would it? Yes. And
Would it be
at
as
some point,
would
somebody
it
else
be
would have
as
been interesting.
I don't know.
I think
I don't
everything
know.
happens. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I'm not trying to shit on Ronda Rousey's what she's done, but I'm also saying that somebody else would have stepped up. She's not the only female on the planet that could have done that. So, and maybe not at the same time, but down the road at some point, yeah.
Maybe later, but it would have been much later. I think the progression, I think the history of the division, they needed that. They needed someone that was that dominant to build up the hype, and then when she fell, everybody was like, "Oh, look at how good these girls actually are and can be." Because
Oh yeah,
everybody
absolutely.
looked at Ron and she was fucking killing everybody.
Absolutely right. It was an injection of excitement into the division and into the whole women's MMA, but especially in her division, it was an absolute injection of steroids basically into the division to pump it up because they sold her right. It all went correct as it should.
Yeah. Especially because before that, we all heard of Chris Cyborg and we had heard of her.
Yeah.
But we didn't. I can't tell you how many. I didn't see any of her fights. I had just heard of her. Like I had heard that she is a female fighter. She had been kicking everybody's ass, you know, but that was about it. I didn't know anything about her. But when Ronda Rousey was in Strike Force, I want to say that I watched her second fight. For whatever reason, I had read about her on some article on the internet, and then I caught the next live feed on Strike Force. I bought the pay-per-view. I did not stream it illegally.
Yep. I know what you meant.
I paid for it. Um anyways. Um but yeah, I caught like her second fight. I watched a lot of her, like I watched her fights from there on out, and like watched her when she fought Misha Tate and everything in there. And then when she came to the UFC and was given, I didn't think she deserved to be given the title right away, but I understand why they gave her the title right away, but
It's a business. It's a business first.
anyways, she eventually lost to Holly Holm, and Holly Holm, fucked her up, and then Amanda Nunes fucked her up, and then she just left for WWE.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I still love Ronda. Still love her.
I was never a large fan.
Well, you were like probably a 145 pounds at the time, so you
I was
probably were not
scared.
you were not a huge fan.
I was afraid I was in the same weight class. I was afraid I'd get my ass beat.
Uh, anyways, Holm versus Yana Santos. What did you say her name was before this?
Kunsakaya.
Unsakaya. She is now Yana Santos. She is Tiago Santos's wife. Gave birth to his child to a MMA soon-to-be prodigy. When both your parents are MMA fighters, I assume that you are going to be a fighter as well, and you will be a future world champion.
Calling it now. Calling it now. Future world champion in what?
MMA.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we can't go back and you can say what I meant was dancing.
Dancing, maybe. I feel like the Brazilian people as a whole could probably do anything they wanted, any sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are very athletic people. So Holly Holm versus Yana Santos. I yeah, I don't want to pick Holly Holm because you know I you know I always root against her, but I can't go with my heart on this one because I know that Daniel Cormier, female version, is going to fucking jab the fuck out of Yana. Just jab, 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 jab her into the cage, and then just grind her against the cage for 3 rounds. And then we're gonna just be like, they're gonna go the judges' scorecards, and it's gonna be 30-27 fucking Holly Holm.
I disagree. I disagree.
Dude.
I think that age difference is going to make a difference at this point. I really do. You're damn close to a decade in age difference. Sorry, Holly, for throwing that out there, but that makes a difference in this sport. Holly's like 41, Yana's somewhere like 30, 34, 33, maybe even. I mean, it's closer to a decade than it's not close to a decade difference. And when we get up into those above 40, we haven't really seen a whole lot of fighters perform in their 40s like they could even just 2 years prior.
Yeah.
I think Yana's on the way up. I think Holly's on the way down. Holly's definitely on the
Yeah.
backside of her career. She's in the back nine. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Is she on hole 18? Is this going to be the end? Is this going to be it? Might be the end, even if
Oh,
she wins. Who
we
knows?
don't. We are not gonna see the end of Holly Holm because guess what? Misha Tate's still fighting. So obviously you want to run it back with those two one more time, even in their
Possibly.
old age. I say even in
Possibly.
their old age, they want to throw Misha Tate in against fucking Holly Holm, 35 years old versus 36. I mean, Misha Tate looks like she's like maybe hole 15, and Holmes is on hole 17. That's right about where they're at.
How old is
Um,
Misha at this point? Was she 38, 39?
Misha is 36. She
God,
has
I
a
was way
fight.
off. Oh my God, I'm so
She has a
sorry.
fight coming up against a in Fight Night in June. So she is fighting Myra Buna Silva.
Well, that'll be interesting. She looked good when
So
she
I
came
don't
back.
even see oh wow, that so is this maybe that's the main event? I don't know. There's also on this card there will be Amir Albazi versus Kaikara France on that one as well in June.
Katakara France is a fucking animal.
He is fucking schooled Cody Garbrandt on the flyweight division.
Yeah.
Don't
Well, I
think
mean,
don't think you're
many
coming
people
down to
have.
my division, fucker. Anyways, yeah, and then Tim Elliott's on that fight card too. I like me some Tim Elliott.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You don't? You don't like Tim Elliott?
No, no, I do.
Oh, okay. All right.
I
I
was
was like, I
agreeing.
was like, wait, what?
No, I was saying, yeah, he's interesting. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
apparently that is the main event, is that Misha Tate versus Myra Bundeselvo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for that. Misha Tate's a great main event. She's
Yeah.
always interesting to watch. When she came back, and she looks way better than when she left. I did not expect that. So,
I mean, but isn't Misha coming off? Yeah, she's coming off back-to-back losses, but she's coming off against a loss to Ketlin Vieira, and then Laura Murphy, which Ketlin, obviously getting the fucking title shot here. So,
yeah, and
um,
she didn't look bad at nights. That was what was. I thought she looked like if you look at previous fights, I still see Misha improving. She's still changing. Now, is
yeah,
she changing enough, and is she moving up enough to keep up? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, but I do see her improving,
is she
which I
is
love.
she ranked, Misha? I don't know. I don't know if she is or not. Um, 1 second here, I can tell you. Uh, um, she's in bantamweight, or yeah, Misha Tate is 11th, and then Buna Silva is 10th. So she's fighting someone right within her thing, within her age range. Maybe, she does make a run. She fights Silva, beats Silva, and then she's like, "Hey, Yana Santos, you just lost, to Holly Holm. Let's fight again." And then she beats Santos, and then she makes a run with Holly Holm, and then you guys look back at this podcast and like, son of a bitch, he called it. And then, by then, Amanda Nunez is no longer champion. She's retired and she's gone into the sunset. And Holly Holm fights, not Holly Holm, but Misha Tate fights Pena and beats Pena.
It's possible. You never know.
Son of a bitch, I'm a fortune teller.
What about this main event?
Brian, just fucking move on, bro.
Come on.
Vera versus Marlon, Cheeto Vera versus Sandhagen. I'm gonna let you go with start this one because I have talked the last two. I think I've talked my ear off. I don't even. Did you even give a? Oh yeah, you went opposite, didn't you? You
Yeah,
went oppo me
yeah,
on that one.
Santos on that one. Just because of the age. I don't
We
think
we
that
have two
people
that we
really
picked. We
excel.
have two that we picked the same, and then we went oppo on the last two. So I don't know how we're going with Vera versus Sandhagen.
I assume we're going to be the same. I mean, because otherwise you're just wrong. So
Well, say it, dog. Say it.
Cheeto Vera for the win, and I mean, he's on a fucking roll, man. This guy, it looks fantastic. He improves every single fight. There's not one fight that I haven't watched that I haven't seen something new from him. He's improving constantly improving, right? I really just don't think that the Sandhagen has the arsenal in his repertoire to take on Cheeto Vera.
Yeah. What I'm gonna say is Cheeto Vera by the third round of every fight, that's when he fucking starts. He starts off slow, but that third round, he just fucking is. He's on. That's when he goes to work, and he's had 2 5-round fights. He beat fucking Rob Font. Um, I've heard it from multiple people. Marlon Vera isn't someone that goes out and will dominate a whole round. He'll have moments within that round that are so dominant that you can't not help but pick him in that round. He might get outstruck, but he will drop you a couple times in that round. Like Font, he fucking dropped Font a couple times within, a round. Font outstruck him, but fucking Vera knocked him down twice in a round. He fucking knocked out Dominic Cruz. I think
Was a head kick.
fucking head kick, dog, in round 4. So he'll go out there and he doesn't start, he doesn't fucking come in. He doesn't start, really doing well until the third round. You can't ever count him out until, past this, like if he before the third, that's not his territory. He's warming up. Third round to fifth round is all Vera.
I feel
He
like he
might
picks
come
up the
out.
pace as he keeps going. Yeah,
He might come in against Sandhagen and look a little cold, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, why did I pick fucking Corey Sandhagen? Then that third round, fucking Vera's gonna just be like, I'm done fucking around now. Or however, he talks. I don't think I remember ever hearing him talk, but I don't even know how to do an Ecuadorian fucking accent. So
I like Sandhagen. I like his style. I think he's very interesting to watch. I just don't think is as well rounded as Cheeto is.
I
And
mean
maybe he
his
proves me wrong.
losses,
I'd love him to.
um Sandhagen's losses are against good opponents. I mean, one of them was before he got to the UFC, but within the UFC, he's lost to Aljamain Sterling, TJ Dillashaw, and Peter Yan. Those are 3 fucking guys that he beat that were tough. Now, his fight against Song Yadong, I fucking hate that win from him. I feel like Sandhagen should have fucking, I think they should run that one back. I think fucking Yadong wins this fight. I fucking hated that doctor stoppage. Even even though it was a bad cut and everything, I hate that's how he won. You know, he got that he got that cut, and then Yadong couldn't do anything after that. He couldn't, he didn't have he had an unfair advantage with that cut. He could fucking, once that blood's in your eye and you can't fucking do anything, you're
The
like,
doctor will stop that shit. Yep.
yeah, you can't do anything. You're a sitting duck there. Now, if they run it back again, I think Yadong does well. I like Yadong, you know. Pause.
I bet you
Song
do.
Yadong. I like Song Yadong.
I'm so sorry. You just left that one right there, and I had to.
Hard edit, Dave.
Not sorry. Leave that in there, Dave. Don't take that out. Did you get your coffee yet, Brian?
But no, I guess Song Yadong is fighting Ricky Simone here soon. That'll be a good fight.
Be interesting. Absolutely.
Yep. But I have Cheeto Vera winning this fight. I think he's gonna I think he's gonna start out cold as usual, and then he's gonna beat Sandhagen, and he's gonna put himself into a position where he's gonna be in a title fight soon.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think
you're 100% right.
I think Cejudo jumping in front of O'Malley was wrong, but it is what it is. But I feel like it's a money fight. Cejudo beats Sandhagen, fucking O'Malley beats Sterling. Or Cejudo, they make the fucking O'Malley versus Cheeto fight. They run it back. It's a good fight. It's pay-per-view buys. You have to think the fucking UFC is a money-making business.
Yeah, it's not just fights. They put on. It's not going to be just the guy that's closely ranked to this other guy.
That's why when whatever happened to Masvidal to get his title shot, they put the fucking most interesting guy into that fight that they could. If they lost that guy and they lost that main event, fucking the gate money goes out, the pay-per-view money goes out. They put fucking Masvidal in there. He fucking had a close fight. They fucking ran it back with him again. Did a decent money on that pay-per-view too.
No, yeah,
it is what it is. Colby Covington's fight against Usman, the shit talking there.
You gotta sell. You gotta put asses in seats. If you're not putting asses in seats, that's all the way from the amateurs to the pros. If you can't put asses in seats, it doesn't matter how good you are.
And
you're not interesting to watch. So
that's why
if you're not good at fighting, then talk shit.
That's that's what they needed with the flyweights. They needed somebody that was just fucking would talk shit. Fucking Demetrius didn't want to do it as well as everybody else.
Sometimes you got to promote yourself, and Mighty Mouse struggled with promoting himself.
And Cejudo don't. Cejudo fucking, he's like, I'm the best fucking out there. I'm the best coach. I'm the best fighter. I'm the best at 125. I'm the best at 135. I'm an Olympic champion, so on and so forth. He promotes himself well. You've
got to promote yourself. You're a contractor technically as a fighter. You're a contractor. You signed a contract to do X amount of work for your job site that you're working on. So you're a contractor. You also can make more money if you have notoriety. Just like any other business. If I'm a woodworker and everybody knows me, I'm going to be able to make more money because I've obviously done a great job. You've got to get people to know you. People need to know you. So even if people hate you in this business, they'll tune in to watch you get your ass kicked too.
Yeah.
Love them or hate them. You got to go one way or the other, and it's harder to make people love you than it is to hate you.
I think we're right on the Cheeto. Cheeto is the underdog in this fight, but I just, he is. I think he's got a lot of his losses out of the way. I think he did his losing early and learned from it. He lost in 2014 in the UFC, 2016, 2017, and 2018. You can learn a lot in 5 years.
Oh,
He's lost
absolutely.
7 times. His 2 fights that he's lost recently in 2020. Song Yudong. Song Yudong is a very tough fighter. That was a decision. And then he lost to Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, very he's a legend, lost
Mhm.
out by decision. So he wasn't getting knocked out, you know. So I mean, I think he did his losing early, and he's learned what he needs to do.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
All right. That's going to be it for our show this week. We tried to cut it down to about an hour, but we're just fucking we talk too much.
A little bit over, but that's all right. Shit happens. You can
It's no
always
problem.
fast forward and rewind. That's all it is.
It's not at least it's not a 2.5 hour podcast or something like that.
Could be worse. Yeah.
Yep. Next week, we do not know what we're gonna do. We could have a guest, possibly. We also could have a topic we talk about. There are a few things that we have cooking for our next episode, but we will have an episode next week, despite there not being an event. We do want to we do like to get off topic, and some of those topics we feel like could be a show.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And if you guys have anything that you'd like to request, please let us know on our Facebook, on our Twitter, even on YouTube. Let us know what you want to hear.
We will not entertain the idea of an OnlyFans, though. That is not something that we will do.
I already have one.
I thought you said you didn't have the right parts.
It's true. You can't sell this. Nobody wants this old dad mod.
Well, I mean, who wants to see who actually wants to see a tribal tattoo? Those things are so 2000.
Don't have any of those. I don't know what you mean. Not completely covered. No.
Alrighty. All right, guys. Until next time, this is Brian the Beastie Slick.
And Josh, the little Spartan Smith.
We'll see you next week.